Will Daniel Bryan's actions invite dire consequences? Oh, Daniel Bryan. What have you done? The SmackDown Live GM took it upon himself to go to Raw extending an olive branch but was met with paranoia, angst and a chokeslam from hell for his troubles. And he was there without the knowledge of Shane McMahon, something that will surely have a fallout of its own on Tuesday. But apart from the highly chaotic build to Survivor Series, normal service resumes on SmackDown Live as it plays host to a number of intriguing matchups as well. Will Sin Cara gain revenge on Baron Corbin's feral attack that invited a disqualification last week? Will Samir Singh fare any better than Sunil when he goes up against AJ Styles? And will Shinsuke Nakamura thwart Kevin Owens from obtaining a spot on Team Blue's Survivor Series squad? Find out as we preview this week's episode of SmackDown Live. Number 5 Artist vs prizefighter. Kevin Owens' best friend, Sami Zayn, didn't fare too well last week against Randy Orton in his bid to win a spot on Team SmackDown for Survivor Series. Will the prizefighter be able to one better his BFF and score a victory over Shinsuke Nakamura, book a spot for himself on the team? Or will he endure the same fate as Sami Zayn, effectively ruling out SmackDown Live's most entitled duo from Survivor Series for good? Will Daniel Bryan's actions invite dire consequences? Number 4 Will AJ Styles prove himself worthy? After Sunil Singh was brushed aside by AJ Styles last week, Samir takes to the mats to try and avenge the loss suffered by his colleague and brother-in-arms. But make no mistake, the greater angle at play here is AJ Styles' efforts to convince Jinder Mahal that he's worthy of a WWE Championship opportunity. And assuming that he makes short work of Samir as he did Sunil, it's quite possible that the phenomenal one sets his sights on Jinder Mahal next. And given that Survivor Series is still a good few weeks away, it may not even be the modern-day Maharaja who faces Brock Lesnar at the mega event after all. Will Daniel Bryan's actions invite dire consequences? Number 3 One final time after Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode exchanged tainted victories these past few weeks, they attempt to settle their beef once and for all by competing against each other in a 2 out of 3 falls match on SmackDown Live. Will the Glorious One finally put Dolph Ziggler in his past and move on to bigger and better things by seeing off his challenge once and for all? Or will the show-off prove why he's been railing on the WWE Universe for getting carried away with all the flash and paraphernalia by underscoring that is it indeed an in-ring skill that wins matches, by outlasting Bobby Roode on SmackDown Live? Will Daniel Bryan's actions invite dire consequences? Number 2 Sin Cara's revenge. Baron Corbin exacted revenge on Sin Cara's count-out victory over him 2 weeks back by pummeling the luchador into the corner of the ring and getting himself disqualified, despite the referee attempting to pull him off. On paper, it now reads Sin Cara 2, Baron Corbin 0. But with last week's beatdown in mind, the high-flying superstar has requested another showdown with Baron Corbin this week on SmackDown Live. And another victory for him, by whatever means, would surely put him in line for a US Championship shot. Has Baron Corbin been put in a no-win situation? Will Daniel Bryan's actions invite dire consequences? Number 1 The cracks are showing. Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan briefly locked horns last week on SmackDown Live when the perpetrator of the Yes movement confronted the commissioner about his siege of Monday Night Raw. But both of them ended up at an impasse and clearly not on the same page about the issue. Something made all the more clear when Daniel Bryan showed up on Raw this week to try and make peace, without Shane McMahon's knowledge. Apart from the fact that he was attacked by Kane, it was also a blatant show of disregard to Shane's authority on Bryan's part. Will his actions, then, lead to yet another bust-up between the powers that be on SmackDown Live? Or will Shane McMahon let Daniel Bryan's actions slide and focus on assembling Team SmackDown to take on Kurt Angle's men at Survivor Series?